Did you know you could be experiencing problems in this lifetime that are connected to a previous incarnation that you've had? So, a different experience that your soul has had in a different body. So, we have our cellular memory, and that comes with us in our incarnations. So, we have this physical body, this avatar that we have. And we have all of these different lives that we experience for our soul's growth. So we have all of these, we have tragic things that have happened in this lifetime and previously. We could have issues that we've brought with us into this incarnation so that we can see it, to heal it, to clear it, and move on. And then we're free of it. But sometimes we have these things that, maybe you have an irrational fear of fire. Maybe you were burned before. Maybe you have pain and you can never explain it. And it's just maybe you have something wrong with your neck. And it's just been since childhood and you don't know where it came from. You could have had an experience where you were hanged. It could be, there's so many different ways, so many different things that you can discover with a past life regression. And so we have these life experiences, and sometimes we don't know where they come from, these problems. So having the meditation or the regression, you're able to view a memory from a previous lifetime so that you can be presented with it, to be like, okay, I'm observing this. This happened in a previous incarnation. I can release that now and set myself free of it. So having that awareness helps you to shift it, to clear it. And then you don't any longer have that condition or that problem. It's really pretty cool. And I have a lot of different experiences that in my many years of doing this with people in groups and on one-on-one, that explained a lot of things and that healed a lot of things. And even past, if you have recurring dreams, sometimes that is a previous lifetime showing itself to you so that you can address it and you can release it. And from my own personal experience, I used to have this recurring dream, maybe 3 or 4 different times I've had this dream, where I was in a vehicle with my current husband, and he was driving and I was the passenger, and we slipped off a mountain into the water backwards, and I was able to free myself and I wasn't able to free him. And so skip to this life. So that was in my recurring dream, and in this life he hates the sound of being underwater, and we're both not really boat people. We don't like to be on the water. And I always felt this intense need to save him. If he was doing something with his lifestyle or his health or whatever, I was always feeling responsible that I had to save him. And also, I don't enjoy being a passenger when he's driving. So I happened to go to a medium who said to me, you two have been in many different lifetimes together. And then she described that dream. She's like, in this particular one, you did this. And I was like, okay, now I can see that was from a previous incarnation. We can set this free now to clear it. Now he doesn't have the underwater issue like he used to. I have now decided I don't need to save him. He is a grown up and he can take care of himself. And so that aspect has healed because we've had an awareness that it's from a different time. So also I've had, one of my daughters has had a past life regression meditation to discover why she had a fear of fire. Like, it was so intense. We had to make sure we had new smoke detectors to reassure her. And we never knew where that fear came from. So she did a past life regression and she was just like 8 or so. And when she came out of it, she, instead of, telling me like, this is what I saw, she drew a picture of it because she was 8. What do you have the capacity to understand a certain level of things. She understands about past lives too. So this was not anything like that freaked her out or anything. But what she drew was she was in a forest with a clearing with a fire down below, and she was tied up and being lowered into the fire. So I was able to explain to her that she was probably burned like the witches were for, being a healer or being someone who, all the things that they say witches were. And that was in a previous time. And now we're free to say what we want, and we're free to do the healing work that we are here for. and we won't be killed for it. And so she was able to heal that fire. And she's actually in my home, she's got the room that doesn't have the exit. She's, and so her fear is gone. Also, physical issues can be healed if, when you look at the emotional root cause of certain physical issues, there's, for example, guilt is in the ankles. You may feel problems with your ankles and you might not know where this is coming from. Also, one of my daughters had an ankle issue, and I was able to, I went for a past life regression to discover what we had a certain issue between us, her and I wanted to clear that. And so when I went there to past life regression meditation, I was shown a lifetime where I came in to our apartment, and she was a lady, big bun in her hair, knitting needles in her bun, and she was my mother. So my oldest daughter was actually my mother in a previous lifetime. And when I looked over, there was a baby playing on the floor, and in that lifetime she was my baby brother, and in this lifetime she's my younger daughter. So my oldest daughter has been the mother of myself and my youngest in a previous lifetime. Anyway, what happened in that past life memory was that she was my mother, and she was jealous because I was coming back from doing something that she didn't know how to do, and she was envious of me, and she ended up actually choking me to death. So when I did the past life, I didn't feel the whole experience again. I viewed it like an observer, like when you're watching a movie, you kind of just, you're observing it and you're not attached to it. So I didn't relive the experience of being choked. But what I did do was come out of it realizing I need to forgive her for anything that she did to me in all lines of time, and I needed to apologize to her for anything that I did to her in any line of time. So any timeline, lifetime, whatever you want to call it, incarnation, dimension, whatever. So when I went home and said that to her, I didn't tell her you were my mom and you choked me to death because you were jealous of me. I didn't tell her that. That was not relevant, but I did tell her that I forgive her. And she cleared that ankle issue. So there are certain things where you don't think are healable, but they can be healable by having the awareness of where it came from, and that you can clear it. You have that power to clear it. So it's really fun. It's a fun and enlightening and insightful experience to have a past life regression. And there's so many other examples I could share because I've done so many of them, but I like to use my own personal ones because I've lived through it and I've experienced for myself. So this isn't just something that I do that, sorry about that. Anyway, I just wanted to share that if you're ever questioning something, you don't know where something comes from in your life, and you're wondering what maybe the root cause is, it's really cool to explore previous lifetimes and the amount of healing that can happen just by observing an old memory that you may have. Anyway, time to go.